Hi, I'm Neus Gil Cortes, and I teach movement primarily. I also work with the students, coaching them in their device pieces, and I sometimes direct as well. The first time that circus really kind of spoke to me was when I watched Wear It Like a Crown from Circus Arts. The piece was about fear and overcoming fear, and I thought, what best medium than circus to talk about fear, right? It just felt like circus could really touch on to something very real in the emotions of the audience. So that's what attracted me to it. I'm mainly a dancer. I started dancing when I was 6, very little. And I became a professional dancer when I was 20. Started dancing in Holland and then moved to Wales. And that's how I came to the UK, because I was dancing for National Dance Company of Wales. And then I danced for Sector Company here in London. After that, I freelanced with other companies like Protein, and I work with different choreographers. After working with Hoffish, I decided that I really was interested in becoming a choreographer and creating pieces myself, not just performing in pieces that somebody else was imagining. So I set up my own company in 2015, and my first full evening piece was a combination of dance and circus. So I guess that's also a reason why I wanted to dive into the world of circus, to do my research as I was working. So really finding out more about how to create within the different perspective of circus. My classes are structured in the different principles that I think are applicable to anybody in the space, in the time. So we look at our body, how does our body move, how can we challenge what is our comfort zone in moving, and how can you, from that comfort zone, really push your physicality. I work a lot with the spine, because the spine is such a long and crucial joint that the minute that we are aware of the versatility of it and how it can move, then automatically it connects all of our body. We work with time as well. How can you play with time? How can you play with the space? And what is the audience getting from what you're doing? So sometimes we will have all these ideas, but they don't necessarily translate. Or maybe they translate too much, and then it's like too obvious and it's almost unnecessary that you're giving so much information. So we also look at that, because module I teach is movement and composition, so we also look at that aspect of the creation of pieces. When I was a dancer, I was trained in ballet for many years, but I knew I wanted to do contemporary. But when I started doing Gaga from Ohana Harin, and then went on to work for Sector, which is a former dancer from Batsheva, from that same choreographer, Ohana Harin, the way they started working with me made a lot of sense, because it went from an outside external image of yourself, looking at the mirror, making sure that you are creating a shape, to a very internal experience of the movement. So how does the movement feel, as opposed to how does the movement look? And for me, that changed completely the way I move. I became a much better dancer, because I could really use my imagination. I could really connect to my guts, to my emotions, to the textures that I could play with. It became a game as well. It became full of possibilities that before I didn't feel I had. So when I teach, I'm really keen on offering that to students, especially because as circus artists, they don't need to learn to be dancers. That's really not the aim at all. The aim is that they feel like they are empowered to use their physicality to their fullest extent, and that they connect to the pleasure of moving, they connect to what they want to say through movement, so that it's not like the conceptual world and then the physical world, but that they can really kind of get together and be really expressive. So I think what's special about this school is that there's a lot of importance given to the creative aspects of the training in the students. Sometimes in some educational institutions, the concentration is on the technique or on the tricks or on getting the kind of like the smooth movements, and that's very important as well. But there are ways to get there that allow for more diversity, first of all, and then they also allow for the students to start thinking creatively. So creativity, it's something that you can learn as well, because it's a way of looking at things, it's a way of thinking, of researching, and this school, I think, really allows that time, and you get the experts or the expertise from people to really concentrate on how can you devise and create. And I think that prepares you for the professional world as a circus artist, which very often will ask you to devise, if not to create the whole show on your own.